Some facts. 50% of the world's AI researchers are Chinese, plus or minus. And they're mostly in China still. We have many of them here, but there's amazing researchers still in China. Their tech industry showed up at precisely the right time. At the time of the mobile cloud era, their way of contributing was software. And so this is a country's incredible science and math, really well-educated kids. Their tech industry was created during the era of software. They're very comfortable with modern software. China is not one giant economic country. It's got many provinces and cities with mayors all competing with each other. That's the reason why there's so many EV companies. That's the reason why there's so many AI companies. That's the reason why there's so many, every company you could imagine. They all create some of them. And as a result, they have insane competition internally. And, what remains is an incredible company. They also have a social culture where it's family first, friends second, and company third. And so the amount of conversation that goes back and forth between, they're essentially open source all the time. So the fact that they contribute more to open source is so sensible because they're probably, what are we protecting? My engineers, their brothers are in that company, their friends are in that company, and they're all schoolmates.
I mean, you did say there's this kind of famous thing you said that if you knew how hard it would be to build NVIDIA, it turned out to be, what is it, 1,000,000 times more hard than you anticipated, that you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, right.
But isn't, when I hear that, that's probably true about everything worth doing, right?
Exactly. That is, by the way, what I was trying to explain is that there's a incredible superpower of being have the mind of a child.
Yeah.
And I say to myself oftentimes when I look at something and almost everything, my first thought is, how hard can it be? you know and so you get yourself into that mode. How hard could it be? And nobody's ever done it. It looks gigantic. It's going to cost hundreds of billions of dollars. It's going to take, all this. And you just go, yeah, but how hard could it be?
Yeah.
How hard could it be?
Yeah.
And so you got to get yourself into that state of mind. You don't want to actually over simulate everything and all the setbacks and all the trials and tribulations and all the disappointments. You don't want to simulate all that in advance. You don't want to know that. You want to go into a new experience thinking it's going to be perfect. It's going to be great. It's going to be incredibly fun. And then while you're there, you need to have endurance. You need to have grit so that when the setbacks actually happened, and those setbacks are going to surprise you, the disappointments are going to surprise you, the embarrassments are going to surprise you, the humiliations are going to surprise you. You just can't now you just got to turn on the other bit, which is just forget about it. Move on. Keep moving. There's a combination of 2 or 3 human characteristics. The ability to go into an experience fresh-minded, the ability to forget the setbacks, the ability to believe in yourself, to believe what you believe and stay true to that belief. But you're constantly reevaluating.
Mm-hmm.
This combination of 3, 4, 5 things, I think is really important for resilience. And I'm fortunate that whatever life experiences led to this, I've got kind of those 4 or 5 things. I'm always curious, always learning. I'm always learning from everybody. I'm always asking and because I'm humble about everything, I'm always thinking, gosh, they did that so nicely. They did that so wonderfully. I wonder what they're thinking through. How do they, so I'm simulating everybody.
I think a lot of people, rightfully so, are worried about their jobs, have a lot of anxiety about their jobs, especially in the white collar sector. I don't think any of us know what to do with tumultuous times that always come when automations and new technology arrives. And first of all, I think we all need to have compassion and the responsibility to feel sort of the burden of what the actual suffering feels like for individual people and families that lose their job. I think whenever you have transformative technology like that's coming with artificial intelligence, there's going to be a lot of pain, and I don't know what to do about that pain. Hopefully, it creates much more opportunities for those same people uh, for the same kind of job as the tooling evolves and makes them more productive and makes them more fun, hopefully, as it does in the programming.
I first break it down, and then I'm going to tell myself, okay, there are some things you can do something about. There's some things you can't do anything about. But for the stuff that you can do something about, let's reason about it, and let's go do it.
Yeah.
If we were to hire a new college graduate today, and I have a choice between two, one that is no clue what AI is, and one that is expert in using AI, I would hire the one who's expert in using AI. If I had an accountant, a marketing person, the one that is expert in using AI, supply chain, customer service, a salesperson, business development, a lawyer, I would hire the one who is expert in using AI. And so I would advise that every college student, every teacher should encourage their student to go use AI. Every college student should graduate and be an expert in AI. And everybody, if you're a carpenter, if you're, electrician, go use AI. Go see what it can do to transform your current job. Elevate yourself. If I were a farmer, I would absolutely use AI. If I were a pharmacist, I would use AI. I want to see what it could do to elevate my job, so that I could be the innovator to revolutionize this industry myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be the first thing that I would do, and then I would also help them. It is the case that the technology will dislocate and will eliminate many tasks, and because it will automate it. If your job is the task, then you're very highly going to be disrupted. If your job's purpose includes certain tasks,
Mm-hmm.
then it's vital that you go learn how to use AI to automate those tasks. And then there's the world of spectrum in between.
And by the way, the beautiful thing about AI, so the chatbot versions, is you can break down. You have anxiety, and you can break down the problem by talking to it. Like I've recently, it's really just incredible how much you can think through your life's problems and I don't mean like therapy problems. I mean like very practically, okay, I'm worried about my job. What are the skills? What are the steps I need to take? How do I get better at AI? Everything you just said, you can literally ask and it's going to give you
Yeah.
a point by point plan. I mean, it's just a great life coach. Period.
I don't know how to use AI, and the AI goes, well, let me show you.
Exactly. It's very meta, but it's kind of incredible. So people definitely should.
You can't walk up to Excel and say, I don't know how to use
Exactly.
Excel. You're done.
I mean, that's really what AI has done for me in all walks of life, is that initial friction of being a beginner, of using a thing for the first time.
Yeah,
I can literally ask about any single thing. What are the first steps I need to take?
that's right.
And that hand holding that it does, removing the friction of all the experiences that the world offers is.
The thing that I want to help the audience understand, if I could give them one thing, is intelligence is a word that we've elevated to very high form over time.
The word we should really elevate is humanity.
Character, humanity, all of those things, compassion, generosity, all of the things that you say just now, I believe those are superhuman powers. and that now intelligence is going to be commoditized because we've spoken about it. The most important thing is your education. Now, even when they said the most important thing is your education, when you went to school, there's more than just knowledge that you gained. And so, but unfortunately, our society had put everything into one single word. And life is more than one word. And I'm just telling you, my life would suggest that being lower on the intelligence curve than everybody around me doesn't change the fact I'm the most successful. And so, and I think that kind of is, I'm trying hopefully to inspire everybody else that don't let this democratization of intelligence, this commoditization of intelligence, cause you anxiety. You should be inspired by that.